What's up, everyone, to a brand new episode of Over the Top Talk. I'm here with my co-host Anthony. How we doing?
We're doing phenomenal. I'm doing phenomenal, bro. I'm so good. I am so good. So good.
Just finished watching SummerSlam. I mean, from
Hmm.
Jelly Roll singing, we saw the Judgment Day finally collapse. Um, Fucking moment after moment, title swaps. So I say we just get right into it with Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Give me your thoughts on that.
Well, there's so many aspects of this match, bro. We have the storytelling. We have the in-ring moments. The in-ring work was phenomenal. Obviously, both women are with their game right now. It was, we predicted this. Seeing it play out in person, seeing Dominic Mysterio finally turn on Rhea Ripley after, oh my God, everything they've been through together. You remember him tearing apart Liv Morgan and just everything on Raw, and just for it to play out like this, oh my God, it was a perfect way to start off the show, a perfect way to get the crowd going, and it was just an all-around 10 out of 10 match in my opinion.
I'm gonna agree with you there, and we have seen this for a while, all the way, I think, in April this started with Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. Hasn't really connected until kind of we've seen glimpses of it recently. But to see it, all unfold together, with Dom throwing the chair in, this time on purpose, which maybe the whole time it was on
Mhm.
purpose, but just seeing Dominic Mysterio pick Liv Morgan up, it really just gave me goosebumps because I know the storyline with this is going to be phenomenal. The rematch is going to be phenomenal. And I'm curious,
Mhm.
if maybe we see some Yeet, take Rhea. So I'm really interested in the
Oh.
storyline now. Obviously, we're going to talk about this later, but this was the start of the eventual final implosion of the Judgment Day. So, I mean, all around,
Mhm.
Liv Morgan is still your women's champ. I'm very excited to see where this goes. There's so many ways it can go with it. Maybe maybe we get the return of Buddy Matthews. I don't know, but leaves a lot of questions, and I just can't wait to see
Mhm.
Rhea Ripley tear whoever the hell she's gonna tear apart, whether it's Liv, Dom, both of them. So I mean,
Yep.
look into the future,
Monday
but
Night Raw. Oh my God, Monday Night Raw this week is going to be a very interesting one, to say the least.
indeed it is. But I do the next match we had Braun Breaker, took the Intercontinental
The Wolf
Championship
Dolds.
off of our main man, Sami Zayn. How do we feel about this?
This was the perfect way to showcase the power of Braun Breaker. It's about time we finally see, the NXT version of Braun Breaker come out. The power, the spears, the power of the dog pound. He had the whole dog pound behind him in Cleveland, obviously. The way he just, showcased himself tonight, it was perfect. It was brilliantly executed. Both men looked really good. Sami Zayn looked good in defeat as well. But I think Braun Breaker is going to have an amazing title reign, and you know, I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens next. Maybe this feud continues. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe we see Braun Breaker do better things, bigger, better things. So there's so much they can do with it. But all around, 10 out of 10 match again. Perfect outcome, and I love all of it.
And I do agree with you with that as well. It was, time for Braun Breaker to finally show that other side of him, just take out Sami Zayn. I felt this was probably, I think this was the shortest match on the card because I was watching. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, it's already over. I think it was like, I don't even know, but felt really short. But in the end, new champion.
Hmm.
I am
Yeah.
curious where Sami Zayn goes. I think they are going to have him and Jey Uso go after the tag team gold. That's my path for Sami Zayn. Braun Breaker, I
Yep.
think he's going to have a lot of people, especially Dragunov. He is not going to go away. He lost the opportunity to
Hmm.
get a title match. So Dragunov versus Braun Breaker for the title, I think, is in the near future. So
Yep.
definitely looking forward to
I
seeing
agree
those
with that.
two. And the path that Sami Zayn's going to take, which I think is the tag team title path. Obviously, Finn Balor and JD McDonough have those titles, and I really would
Hmm.
like to see Jay and Sami Zayn. We've seen them start to come back together. We got this new Bloodline storyline, so hoping we get that tag team, and I hope we can see them as champions. I think that'd be a really cool aspect, especially with Jimmy out of the picture as of right now, at least. So,
Yeah, and obviously, saw on Monday Night Raw about the Judgment Day imploding. Finn Balor being the tag team champions with JD McDonough. Maybe we get Sami Zayn and Jay taking those titles off of them sooner than later. Maybe even on an episode of Raw, or Bash in Berlin is in how long from now? Less than a month from now. So anything can happen.
yep. So, new champion, new Intercontinental champion, Braun Breaker. I'm really excited to see where this man goes. He deserves that title. And on the other side, Sami Zayn, love his work as well. So looking forward to seeing him hopefully, get his hands on some tag team gold. So with the next match,
Hmm.
you know, United States Championship match, LA Knight versus Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Another fantastic, fantastic match. But I want your thoughts on the
Hmm.
new United States champion, LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've been saying this since the podcast started and before it even started, that LA Knight needed his moment to shine. They've had to pull the trigger on this man, and they've been holding us back for so long. And we've been eager, sitting on the edge of our seats, waiting to get his moment. And tonight was that night. He finally pinned Logan Paul, became our new United States champion. And I think we are going to have one of the greatest U.S. title runs in history with LA Knight. He's going to elevate this title so much. He's going to have memorable matches, amazing moments with it. And the match all around was great. I was pretty concerned actually during the match. I thought LA Knight was going to lose at like three different points. I thought Logan Paul was going to hit him with that frog splash, the KO punch thing he does, like all that stuff. But he fought through. He his head high, and he hit him with that beautiful BFT. Got the 1, 2, 3, and he is your new United States champion, LA Knight. Yeah.
And a lot of people have been waiting for this since he came just short of winning last year's Money in the Bank. So to finally see him, work
Hmm.
his way back to the top, finally get his title match. I mean, he had the match against Roman, but an actual title that has a storyline connected to it. I'm just glad he won.
Hmm.
Finally, that man has gold. Deserves it. I do want to, that moment in the match where Logan, went on the ropes, did like the backflip. That was probably one of my favorite moments of that match. I know Logan's a amazing
Yep.
competitor. I just wish, he did a little more. He's a talented superstar. Would have loved to see him, actually, have more than two matches in like, 4 months. But his title reign's over. It's
Yeah.
now in the hands of LA Knight. The question I have for you is where does Logan Paul go now?
Well, that's actually a great question, and I believe he's going to elevate even higher up. They know how good they have Logan Paul. He is an incredible athlete, incredible talent. Like you said earlier, did a springboard backflip onto LA Knight. He does like a 35-foot frog splash in the air. Like, this man is incredible. I think we see him go up against Gunther soon. I think we see him go up against Cody Rhodes soon. I think we see him go after high championship gold. I think we see him involved in amazing long-term storylines. I think he's going to be a new player in this company. I think he's going to be utilized more often than he was with the United States Championship. If you remember how entertaining he was chasing the belt, when he fought Roman, remember that? And he put on some 5-star classics, in my opinion, when he was chasing the belt. So, I can only imagine what kind of bangers he can put on with like LA Knight. Well, like he did it today, he put on bangers with Roman Reigns. So he can put on bangers with Cody Rhodes. He can put on bangers with Gunther. He can put on bangers with Braun Breaker. He can do it with anyone. He can go down to NXT for a little, maybe fight Trick Williams. Like he's a free man now of the belt, so he has so much freedom and creative what he can do outside of the ring. And I'm excited to see like what's gonna happen with him. Like Blood is right around the corner. That's known as Hell in a Cell season. We could see him involved in one of those. Um, I think I think it's a fair take to say that he may become a world heavyweight championship in the near future.
I do agree with that, especially his moves at the ability he has in the ring is just over the top. Like I said before, I wish this reign featured him in more matches. Obviously, it was more of just to show the title off. I understand where they were going, but I'm happy to say part-time champions are no longer a thing. So I think he
Yep.
was the last one that's part-time. LA Knight on the other side has been working his ass off, like I said the other night, and I'm glad to see everything folded into place. New United States champion LA Knight, and I'm happy to see that. Happy to see where these storylines are going to go with him, and maybe some open challenges. I was on a pod the other night. The guy said, what if we had some open challenges, kind of like Cena did. I'd love to see that. So
Yep.
guess we can get right into the next match after that, which was Nia Jax versus Bayley for the championship, which this was the one match on the card where I was like not too excited for. I was very underwhelmed, but it did turn out to be a pretty decent match. I want your thoughts first.
I totally agree with you on that. I'm not gonna lie, I am gonna admit I was hating at the beginning. I was like, this match is gonna be a sleeper. I didn't think it was gonna be good. I thought Bayley was gonna retain again. But no, we actually had one of I think it was extremely exciting actually towards the end of the match. We built up momentum. Tiffy Time came out. She kind of had the distraction with the briefcase, and Nia Jax picked up the win, became your new women's champion, and I think it's a very deserved moment for her. She's been putting in the time, putting in the effort. She's built her character up so well. She's one of the best heels in the company, and I think she's going to be an extremely entertaining champion. And it's a very, very, very amazing moment for her. So we can only imagine the storylines that are going to come from this. Where does Bayley go from here? I don't know. She's already done it all. She's been to the top of the mountain many times. So I could see her, maybe dabbling down at NXT for a little bit. Maybe she can elevate new talents like Becky Lynch did for a while. Or maybe she can chase more gold. She can maybe go to the tag team picture with Naomi for a while. But, Nia Jax definitely deserves this moment of that match. Like probably an 8-10 just because like the beginning was a little bit slow, but all around amazing, solid match and a big W for Nia Jax.
And yeah, I'm gonna come out here and say, Nia's first run, obviously, I don't think a lot of people liked. But then, she
Hmm.
came, since she's been back with the WWE, she's put in the work, put in the time, fixed mistakes, finally back in the title
Yep.
picture. I think that was a fantastic match. Some of the highlights, or I guess I can highlight one of the moments where, Bailey, hit a power bomb on Nia Jax. I was like, I did not know she had power like that. So I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But back to
Yeah, that
Nia,
was nice.
amazing work she's done. She deserves this, title run. Obviously we saw Tiffany Stratton come out. I didn't. I was like, she's definitely not going to get this cash in, but then it made sense that it was a part of their plan. But I do have a
Yep.
path with Nia Jax with this title, and I
Okay, let's
do
hear
want
it.
to ask you, this opponent, and her name is Charlotte Flair. She's, we've seen previews of her. She's, working the performance center. I was like, if Nia wins this, I
Yep.
think Charlotte Flair is coming very, very soon after. So I want to hear your thoughts if you agree with that.
I actually totally agree with that take right there. The Queen is going to come home. I personally think if that match happens, Nia Jax has to beat Charlotte. If Nia Jax beats and pins Charlotte, that will cement her as the top woman in the division. Her and Charlotte can put on amazing matches, maybe one, two, three matches down the line. So I'm definitely on board with that match. I think we could even see that as soon as maybe even Bash in Berlin coming up in the month. So yes, I'm very fond of that match.
And, in the back of Nia's mind now, I feel like it's got to be, Tiffany Stratton obviously has that briefcase. It's gonna happen. We saw
Mhm.
Priest, cash in at Mania, so I don't think it's gonna be anytime soon. Fanatics got to make their sales up. So I
Yeah.
think if we fantasy book a little bit, someone did tell this to me, and I was like, kind of makes sense that if Tiffany Stratton were to cash in, it would be if Charlotte Flair is the champion at the time, because if you have Tiffany
Hmm.
Stratton pin a Hall of Famer like Charlotte Flair, it would put Tiffany Stratton in a whole category and it put her over. So I would, if fantasy booking, obviously when she is to cash in, I would like to see it be with Charlotte, and I hope because that would put her over the top. She's a young champion, has a lot of potential, so I think that would start her title reign very well. But obviously, um, new champion Nia Jax. We've predicted this the
Yeah.
other night. I think we went 7 for 7. Actually, I was looking back. I think me
Yeah.
and you went 7 for 7 on the
Yeah.
prediction. So
Yeah.
there was a
And what you
couple
said about
moments I
that
was like,
Tiffany Stratton, bro. Yeah, about what you said about Tiffany Stratton. There was actually a picture of someone predicting that like a few months ago. Like one of the main events of WrestleMania 41 is they think it's gonna be Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for the women's championship. Tiffany Stratton fighting Charlotte as the champion. So I could definitely see that happening. I don't know if they would wait until that long or they would have it at like an earlier PLE, but WrestleMania is the spotlight for that to happen. And I think Tiffany Stratton is going to be probably your next biggest star, right alongside Rhea Ripley. They're going to be, for the next 10 or so years, they're going to be the top of the card. So seeing them kind of elevate together, seeing Tiffany Stratton, like, do you remember she just came up to the main roster recently and she's already having some banger matches being in storylines. So it's incredible to see that.
and yeah, it obviously we saw the new champion Nia Jax. Looking forward, there's a lot of ways they can go with her title run, kind of like most of these new champions. But with further ado, before we get into this next match, I do want to give a shout out to our new merch that just dropped. It's in the merch store. If you want to grab some, I'm going to put it in the description of this video. maybe grab a shirt, grab anything supports this podcast. We want to thank,
Yep.
anyone that supports us every single time we post something, whether it's on Instagram, YouTube, wherever. So we want to thank everyone for this opportunity, and, go grab something in the shop if you want to support us anytime. So we thank you guys for this.
Yep. Thank you, everyone.
And to get in to a little bit of a triangle feud we got going on, we had CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as the guest referee, and Seth Rollins once again cooking with the outfit. Many people said,
Hmm.
why does he keep grabbing clothes out of Becky Lynch's closet? And I thought, that was, he kind of had the Shawn Michaels look going on tonight. I was a lot of Shawn Michaels
Yeah.
shades. So I want your thoughts on that match before we get into, some of these moments that we saw.
Well, first off, to start it off, I just want to say, seeing Punk come out in that pink gear like he did in 2011 was, I almost started crying. I'm not gonna lie. That was truly such a nostalgic moment. It was like reliving my childhood. That was incredible. And like you said about Seth Rollins, if he came out wearing the booty shorts like HBK did back in the day, that would have been, incredible. This match all around amazing. The storytelling amazing. The in-ring work was amazing. CM Punk had missed a beat. He still looks like $1 million in the ring. That man can still go. It's awesome. Seth Rollins obviously being an extremely entertaining ref. He's hilarious, just letting them do whatever they want and getting involved in the match as well. And Drew McIntyre still being that dastardly heel that everyone wants to hate. He's like, making them, both of those men, so mad, causing some crazy moments. So 10 out of 10 match, in my opinion. I really enjoyed this. And let's get into these moments.
You know, the whole focus with Punk, was that bracelet. He saw Drew with it. He wanted to take it right off. Had Drew in a submission hold, was just focused on taking that off. So he
Mhm.
kind of broke out of that. Then, we saw him have a chance to hit his finisher. Then he saw Seth with it, took it off. So in this match, I feel like we saw a different side of Punk that cared, more about his wife and family than, the actual ring. And, like you said,
Mm.
this match, you know, made a lot of fans are questioning Punk whether he was going to be able to, just coming off of a shoulder injury, what he was going to look like. And like you said, he looked amazing. It gave everyone high hopes for the future. He obviously looked,
Yep.
slower, but that's just because of age. But he looked fantastic, and I do want to get into it. Did you think that he was more focused on family than the actual match?
Well, yeah. I think that kind of, like Michael Cole said at the end of the match, Punk screwed Punk this time. Punk took his eye off the ball. He wasn't fully locked in on Drew McIntyre, and it cost him. He ran right into a claymore after, picking up his bracelet again. Arguing with Seth Rollins for having the bracelet, even though he was just trying to protect it. He picked it up off the ground, didn't want it to get stepped on or anything. So I think Punk was kind of off tonight. I think Drew won this feud like tonight because he got to Punk's head so deep with that bracelet. He really tugged on his emotions and took his eye off the ball. So yeah, I think Punk definitely screwed Punk.
Yeah, and the thing about this is, now we have this, future with these three men, and this triangle feud, like I mentioned before. It just sets up so many
Mhm.
opportunities, and you know, this feud with the three of them could be the first time in a while we see a main event, or it is these three men could put on a main event, without a title on the line easily. So I'm excited
Yeah.
to, look to the future with these three men. I know the storytelling is going to be amazing. Obviously, Drew took the bracelet back, so Drew, still has, Punk's family, attached to him. We saw Seth Rollins storm out. He obviously took a CM Punk finisher. He obviously hates
Yeah.
Drew. These three men. I do hope that, out of this, I feel like it was more Seth Rollins against Punk than Seth Rollins against Drew. So I am hoping we
Yeah.
do get a dynamic where it's Punk versus Rollins, possibly in like a Hell in a Cell match. Obviously, he's not going to take his eyes off of Drew. He still has that bracelet on. But I feel like him and Rollins are going to feud more than Punk and Drew at this moment.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think this match, believe it or not, I think it has the legs span all the way until WrestleMania. So hear me here. If you remember, the end game WrestleMania 40 was supposed to be Punk versus Rollins, but obviously Punk got his really bad tricep injury in the Rumble. But I think these men can put on matches. The three of them can span out all the way until WrestleMania, giving us finally Punk versus Rollins at Mania. And like you said, it doesn't even have to be for a championship. It can just be a one-on-one match to finally cement this feud. And finally, we know how much they hate each other. Like Rollins and Punk have hated each other for a decade now. Like these men have not been fans of each other. These men have had heated rivalries in real life, out of kayfabe, out of anything. They've actually heated rivalries. And I think Drew can kind of add on to that because he can kind of elevate this feud to, where it's not just Rollins and Punk, obviously. So I think we can get all the way into Mania season with this feud where we finally Rollins versus Punk in whatever match, whether it be a normal match, whether it be like, no DQ, Hell in a Cell, whatever it may be. It's going to be incredible match. I think it's going to be well worth it, well worth the wait that we get. And I could see multiple triple threat matches happening throughout the time. And I think we're going to have a run it back match between between Punk and McIntyre at Bad Blood in a Hell in a Cell match.
And yeah, the only thing, this match was just like the start of many. Obviously, Punk coming his first match, singles match in a long time, 10 years. Definitely looking forward to where this goes with all three men, of course. And, to
Yep.
get on to, the next match, which was personally one of my favorite matches of the night. Damian Priest versus the Ring General Gunther, with the Ring General becoming new World Heavyweight Champion with the help of the man himself, Finn Balor. I want your thoughts.
Well, this was the second implosion of the Judgment Day tonight. First was Dominic, betraying, and now we have Finn betraying Damian Priest. So this is a very interesting situation that we're in now. But going back to the match was absolutely phenomenal. It was an extremely hard match. Both men were extremely beaten up. We saw Gunther, his chest was literally gushing blood from getting chopped so much. Damian Priest looked like he was literally about to die in the ring. Like he looked like he was gonna just pass away right there. He ate like 3 power bombs. He got put in the sleeper hole like 4 times, and he got like chopped to death. Both men, put on an amazing match. It was an incredibly like good storytelling, and kind of going back to that Finn Balor moment. We saw Damian Priest take his eyes off the ball, like when he saw the replay on the board of Finn putting Gunther's leg on the rope after that South of Heaven choke slam, and he wants to get his hands on Finn. So I think that's going to be very soon, probably Bash in Berlin. So all around, I give this match 10 out of 10. Personally, I think this was my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, and obviously we've been talking about this dynamic of, when was Finn gonna turn on Priest? We've been saying it for literal months now. When was it gonna happen? We saw glimpses
Mm-hmm.
of it. Never happened. More glimpses never happened. Tonight, Priest rolled Gunther over. Once I saw him get close to the ropes, I was like, yep, this is where it's happening. Didn't know how until, Finn
Yeah.
Balor put Gunther's leg on the ropes. Priest didn't see it till after. And yeah, like you said, he took his eyes right off the ball. I do like this new Priest we are seeing. We're seeing non-hail Priest. We're seeing a face Priest. Now the question is, actually with one side being Priest, now the question is, how they gonna divide? Like, I know it's gonna be Rhea and Priest, and we kind of saw glimpses of this. I forget what event it was, but when they were walking in, it was Priest and Rhea. Then it was Carlito, Finn, and JD
Mm-hmm.
and Dom. So I think that's how it's gonna ultimately be split up. But like we've said,
Yep.
I am very excited for Finn Balor versus Priest. I've loved both these
Mm-hmm.
men's work. We thought long ago this was gonna be the match at SummerSlam. We thought it was gonna be Priest versus Finn Balor, but now we're gonna see it at a new pay per view whenever that is. But with Gunther, I do want to ask you something because there is a match potential. I think a lot of people have kind of mentioned it, and that is
I know
the
you're gonna
main
say.
man Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Um, Personally, I thought Brock had a chance of returning tonight. I thought there was a slight chance before the event even started that Brock could have heard dun 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 dun, dun and then Brock comes out. Um, I think Brock is going to be back. Another match that I thought you were going to say was Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther. That's a match that many want to. I think we could see one of those two matches very soon. Actually, um, if they want to give Gunther a relatively long championship reign, I know how Mania is quite a bit away, but I think Brock Lesnar versus Gunther is definitely a WrestleMania worthy feud. But we could definitely see that if he wants to come back to the business. We saw Triple H obviously say that Brock has an open invitation back if he wants to. So it's up in the air. We heard Gunther say that he wants this match very badly. So, yeah, I think it's a very high ability, and that match obviously would cook. Incredible, both men, amazing. But yeah, I would love to see that. That would be incredible.
And I was kind of just kind of thinking of podcasts I've been on, people I've talked to. I was on one the other day, and I'm gonna kind of bring their point to you. There was one. This wouldn't be any time close, but there was one man that came close to beating Gunther, and that was main event Jey Uso. Would you like to see him maybe get into this picture long down the line because he came very, very close to beating Gunther in the past? So I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think Jey Uso would be an incredible opponent for Gunther during this title run. He could be the person to even dethrone him, possibly. I think he's definitely want to get a crack at that title at some point down the line. But Jey Uso needs his time to shine as well. They need to pull the trigger on him to get his first championship singles gold. So, what better way to do it than maybe dethroning Gunther? We have Jey Uso maybe coming back to the bloodline, well, the good bloodline with Roman Reigns. So Maybe if they want to bring gold, we give Jey Uso that belt right there to bring it into the bloodline. But you never know.
And speaking of the bloodline, with the main event, we had Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, which we saw, kind of similar to the Mania match, I thought, but then it kind of faded away. Before we get into the huge
Mhm.
moment of the night, I want your thoughts on just like the match in general and like the quick run and stuff like that.
Um, yeah, I think the match was pretty good between Cody and Solo. It was a relatively, I feel bad saying this. It was kind of a boring match. I think, it was kind of like a Friday Night SmackDown esque type of match. They were in the ring most of the time. It was Bloodline rules. It really started to pick up a little bit. The Tonga came in and they attacked Cody Rhodes. Obviously, we saw that coming for a while. Good old Tongaloa messed up again. If you saw that, he missed the turnbuckle while trying to carry Cody Rhodes. Um, so this man can't stop missing botches, but it's okay. We saw Jacob Fatu obviously come out. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens return to help Cody Rhodes. But yeah, I think the match was really good. It was well put together. Obviously, both men have a lot of history with each other. They have chemistry. They work very well together. So yeah, the match was very good. And Cody Rhodes, how many times do you think he kicked out in that match? When we thought it was over, he kicked out like at least like 6 or 7 times. It was
Yeah, it had to
crazy.
be.
So
And
I give the match like a 10 out of 10.
I'm just, I really, the one I did, kind of speaking about the star, like the entrance for Cody, I thought was literally amazing. He had his dog, Pharaoh. It's one of his last, or is his last, road trip he's going to be able to take with Cody. Thought that was a pretty good
Hmm.
dynamic, having him walk to at least, right in front of the tunnel. Thought that was a good dynamic.
Yep.
But to get into kind of the match, I thought, it was these matches I feel like are always kind of slow at the start. I was kind of like
Yeah.
I was kind of upset because when you have a bloodline rules, obviously no DQ. I feel like we didn't see a lot of that. Be obviously we saw the run-ins with
Yeah.
Tama and Tonga, but we didn't see as many like no chair shots, no like tables, anything like that. I thought it was kind of one of those no DQ
Yeah.
matches where it just felt like a regular match. I was like, when's something gonna happen? So I do like how it did pick
Yeah.
up, the main man Tong with the eye patch, messed up again. Don't know how he keeps getting these opportunities, but
Yeah.
that's okay. We saw, like you said,
Yeah.
Orton come down, KO, took them both out of the situation. Then we saw the main man, Jacob Fatu, which is literally the best member of this, bloodline. You know, hit like
Yeah.
8 finishers, the top rope jump right through the table. Solo couldn't finish the job. But the one main man, and we've been waiting to talk about this, the tribal, or I should say, the original tribal chief is back, and he came for blood with Solo. How do we feel about that?
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that one more time? I was lagging a little bit. Can you repeat it one more time? Sorry.
We had the original tribal chief return. Hit a Superman punch, put a
Yeah.
spear right through Solo. How do we feel about that?
I'm not gonna lie. I shed a tear with that, bro. I can't even explain how I feel about that moment. Roman Reigns' new theme song that he came out with really felt like God mode. Like I was levitating during that match. Like, oh my god, that entrance. We had we had him obviously, running full force, hit Solo with a Superman punch. He speared the crap out of him. And then we have Cody hit the three crossroads, 1, 2, 3, and picks up the W. And we have Roman Reigns smiling at Cody Rhodes, showing that he has respect for him. That I think Roman Reigns is finally back to being a face again, and he's gonna team up with Cody Rhodes to take out this bloodline. And it was all around, obviously, the best moment of the whole night, in my opinion. Like, just seeing the tribal chief come back, and obviously him wearing the OTC shirt, the original tribal chief. I don't know if you saw this part, but do you remember when Solo was outside of the ring, literally screaming? He was like crying on the side of the ring, like he was like full blown crying. It was so well put together, and oh my god, it was probably, as of right now, my favorite moment of the whole year. I'm saying it, my favorite moment of the whole year.
Yeah, and especially not seeing him for so long, having a new, song with him, he's finally seeing him as a face. We saw him as a heel for about 4 years.
Yep.
And, the one thing I do want to say is when, he was in the ring, he spared Solo, he had a different look at Cody than he's had in the past. When they were feuding, he kind of had like an angry look at Cody every time he was in the ring with him, like a look of disgust. Tonight was kind of just like he was kind of just like smirking, respects Cody. Obviously, Cody being the man that dethroned him, but his main focus, is the man that took out his wise man. Cody didn't touch the wise man. Solo and his new group of men did. So the path for Roman, I can't wait to see him just keep destroying Solo. Solo's definitely terrified of him. Like you said, he was literally crying like a little baby outside the ring, after the match, like saying, "You're not supposed to be here," making comments towards Roman. But the one thing I do want to say is when, we saw Roman as a face before, people didn't like him. They booed the crap out of him. Now he's gained the amount of respect from the fans that he deserves, and now he's a face once again, obviously. And I'm very excited. He's finally getting the crowd pops. I feel like it could have been a little louder, but that's obviously because his return was kind of obvious. People knew it was just when he still got a loud ass pop, but I'm definitely excited because he has the fans on his side this time. Obviously, just leaves so many questions with, like we said before, when is Jimmy coming back? When is Jay going to get him? He said he doesn't care about this family business right now, but when is Jay going to get back into the picture? Maybe Sami Zayn. I can't wait to see where this goes now that we have Roman back and a new Roman that, we haven't seen a face Roman in a long time. And, I just want to ask you, when do you think Jimmy Uso is going to come back? I thought it was going to be tonight, but obviously not. So, when do we kind of put that into play?
After it not happening tonight, it kind of confuses things a little bit. It kind of makes things feel a little bit, strange. If I had to guess, I would think the Bloodline could possibly have, a celebration ceremony for the victories of the Tag Team Championship we saw last night on SmackDown. If they, maybe next week have like a ceremony or something or whatever, we could see the return of Jimmy Uso. Or, in my other prediction that I have is, say if we see Roman come out and kind of confront the Bloodline, well, the new blood, or the sign in the crowd said the Timu Bloodline, which I actually really like. So the Timu Bloodline, and we might see Roman Reigns come out and can say, I have a friend with me, and he brings out Jimmy and Jey Uso, both of the Usos. showing that they're reunited, which would be really cool to step up to this bloodline. But I think Jimmy has to return very soon, like within the next 2 weeks. Like Jimmy should return. I thought it was gonna be either last night or tonight, and it was either. I think you thought that too, right? You thought he was gonna come back tonight or last night. Um, but it didn't end up happening. So maybe we'll see him. Maybe we'll see him on Monday Night Raw. Maybe we'll see him on SmackDown. Maybe we'll see him on, I don't know, whatever. So
Yeah, and I was kind of shocked, how my prediction going in was that, Roman was gonna come at the end. I thought we were gonna see Jimmy kind of where Roman did come out, but ultimately, Roman's finally back. It's felt like WrestleMania was a long time ago. He's been out for a little bit now. We got Jimmy Uso lurking. We got many people lurking, like we've mentioned. We've got Brock Lesnar. We got Charlotte Flair. We got so many storylines. I feel like this pay per view in general kind of just, we're starting on Monday, starts like a new chapter of WWE. So I am looking forward to, future matches, where these storylines go. Questions are going to be answered. Like, where is Jimmy? Where, when are people going to get rematches? Stuff like that. So the future of WWE is in good hands after tonight. I loved that pay per view.
yep,
There wasn't a match where I was like, damn, maybe I should take a bathroom break. I was literally at my couch watching it straight through, every match cooked. So yeah, definitely looking forward to the
yep,
future and what Papa H has for us. So you know with that,
yeah. You
good way
know,
to top it off. I'll let you roll with that.
yeah. I'm confident in saying this is the last thing I'm going to say, and this might get a lot of hate or controversy. This is the greatest pay per view I have seen in about, well, in my time of watching live PLEs. I think this is the greatest PLE I've ever seen. I'm gonna say hands down, this was the greatest PLE I have ever seen because most of the time when I see it, like when I see an event, there's one or two matches that I'm like, oh, this match is not really it. This match missed the mark. Every single match was perfect in my opinion. I think every match delivered the way it should. The storytelling was incredible. And how many title matches? There was 6 title matches that happened tonight, and there were 4 changes of titles, that's insane. I don't think that's happened before in PLE. So like, just it's a new approach, and yeah, 10 out of 10, 20 out of 10 PLE. My favorite of all time. I'm saying it's my favorite PLE of all time.
Yeah, and obviously, I think we're both looking forward to Monday. Now Fridays. Now that the original Tribal Chief is back. Looking forward to these
Yeah.
storylines, like I mentioned. My favorite
Mm.
storyline probably is obviously going to be Roman. He's back. Now it's just, can he recruit this original bloodline with Jay, Jimmy, possibly Sami Zayn, maybe new members. So looking forward to this
Yep.
future. But with that, I want to say thank you to everyone who watched. Leave a like down below, subscribe. New merch is out. It will be in the description. So thank you guys, and we will see
Hmm.
you guys soon.